Hi, I'm Sage. I'm going to be your social worker and talking with you today. What's your name?
Hi, Sage. My name is Katie.
Hi, Katie. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you seeing me. It was
Yeah, of
much needed.
course. Okay, so do you want to start off by telling me a little bit about what brings you in?
Yeah, I can do that. So it's kind of a whole host of things. It's my ex-boyfriend, Ryan.
Your ex-boyfriend.
Like very recently, my school life and like everything, and then my relationship with my brother.
Your brother.
And they're all kind of twisted into a ball of anxiety.
A ball of anxiety. Okay, so let's start from the top, kind of break this down, make it a little easier for you to talk about. You mentioned your ex-boyfriend, Ryan, I believe, first. So let's start with him. How was that relationship and how did that breakup go?
The relationship lasted for about 5 months.
5 months.
And it was like just a relationship of that felt like me giving, trying, and it was just very one-sided and there's no
One-sided.
reciprocity.
Okay.
And the breakup went terrible because he hurt himself, he inflicted harm on himself, and I had to try to think of the best decision for my safety
Your
and
safety.
to ensure that he was getting the help that he needed. So I called the local police in his city. I called his parents, I called his roommate, his coworkers, his friends, because I didn't feel that it was safe to put myself in a situation of going over there.
Going over, right.
Because this was not the first time that had happened,
Okay.
but this was the first time that it was bad enough. I think he needed medical attention.
Medical attention. Okay. So you said this wasn't the first time that this had happened. How had you dealt with these situations in the past?
Honestly, the first few times that happened, I kind of just brushed it off as guys get angry and they, I have 7 brothers, so it's like guys get angry and they do things.
They do
Like,
things.
which like definitely isn't healthy. But then, when it started to become like an issue that triggered something in my head was when he was at my apartment alone when I wasn't home, and I came back and there was blood all over my apartment and there was glass all over, and like I said a second ago, I live alone, so it's like I was terrified. I was
Terrified.
like, I don't know what he did. I don't know why there was glass everywhere, where the glass came from, what part of his body the blood came from, and he just wasn't there.
So he was gone once you arrived home. It
Yeah.
was just the remnants of the situation that you found.
Yes, and I know for a fact he'd been drinking, so then it's like, not only did he do that, but I know he must have drank and drove, or it was doing God knows what.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but there were a lot of different factors going into this one specific situation, and you were kind of distraught. You didn't know where he was, how he'd gotten where,
Well,
how seriously he was injured. So you didn't really know your best course of action to proceed.
and I think it was made worse because I was with some of his friends, and they all, like, when I realized that he was at my apartment alone, because I did get a message. I got a message
You got a
saying
message.
to come home.
Okay.
And I was like, that's not good. So I was like, well, do you guys want to come with me? And they all got back there with me. And they were all looking at me like I was the least empathetic person in the world, because I was like, he does this all the time. Like, this first time he's done it at my apartment, but he does this all the time.
All the time.
Like,
How do you think these problems, or I guess this problem, impacted those that were with you?
it's impacted a lot of people, I think, to the point where it's almost like we feel like he does this for attention.
Attention.
Because until I had to call the ambulance right before we broke up, because of how severe his injuries were, it just seemed like he didn't want the help. He just wanted people to know that he was in pain.
No, he was in pain.
Yeah.
How did you react to this, to not just this specific situation, but these repeating injuries?
It's a lot like, you just become desensitized to things.
Desensitized.
And it gets to the point where you're so tired of it and you see it so often. It's like a really, it's like an on and off again relationship basically.
Mhm.
Because, you know, it's hard to be in a, okay, so he also had a drinking problem.
Mhm.
And I knew that from the beginning.
From the beginning.
And, you know, it's hard to be in a relationship with someone who's in a relationship with alcohol.
Right.
So it was like, it affected me and I didn't know how to deal with it. It was just the point where I was just numb to all these situations where I was like, you don't want my help. I don't know what else to do. You don't want my help.
Who did you normally talk to about these situations?
I would talk to his mom about it.
His mom.
And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, I think, was when I realized his mom was even to the point where I was. The last time I called her and I said, your son is telling me he's going to kill himself. And she was like, do you ever think he's doing that to elicit a response from you?
Mhm.
And she was like, please stop dealing with this. Like, go, be free. He's not going to kill himself. He is doing this for attention.
For attention. And you believe that's true?
I believe if his mother has been dealing with it for a lot longer than I have,
Mhm.
probably 8 years since his dad died,
His dad.
she's been dealing with it. So I believe that, yeah, probably she has a good idea.
That makes sense. So you mentioned his drinking problem. Had any steps been taken to try and alleviate this?
So when we were in a relationship, I told him, I said, I don't want to be around you when you're drinking.
Mhm.
I don't care what night it is because you don't drink for fun, you drink to forget.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't think that's healthy, I don't want to be involved in it, don't want to be around it.
Don't want to be around it.
And then he was like, the drinking is taking a toll on me. And he realized and like accepted
You realized it.
Yeah, and which I thought was such a big step. He like came to me and he was like, please help me get into counseling. So I got him connected with CAPS, I got him set up with appointments, I had him going on a regular basis. And then I was sitting there and my uncle, who's a minister now, used to be an alcoholic. And I was talking to him about it and he was like, Kate, you gotta understand, people will not change if they're doing it for you. They'll only change if they're doing it for
For
themselves.
themselves.
And you know, it really showed his true colors because when we broke up, he quit going to counseling.
Mhm.
So steps were taken, but they were more forced by me.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here, excuse me, but you were taking on blame for some of his mental issues he had going on, and you were trying to accept the blame yourself, and you were trying to fix him.
Yeah.
Even though, do you see now that you could have reacted differently, or wish you would have realized sooner that he wasn't going to get the help he needed?
Yeah, I think that I should have, no, I think you are completely correct. I should have known from the beginning that it wasn't going to be a healthy relationship because of his drinking.
His drinking.
There's a lot of factors in it. It's honestly, there were a lot of signs that I should have paid more attention to.
Well, it seems like you're doing well. You realized that it was an unhealthy relationship. You got out of it. You talked to people. You seem to be coping correctly with it. You saw me. You got counseling. Tried to help him, and after a while, you realized there wasn't any more you could do, and you moved on.
Well, the biggest thing I came into today, though, is that's the back history, is what it has escalated to today.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on today?
So, a week ago, he called, we had a flight booked for December to go to Boston.
Boston, okay.
Yeah, like, I love Boston and hockey and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls me a week ago out of nowhere. And he's like, hi, I need the $50 I put in towards your plane ticket. Totally reasonable. 100%. I was like, yeah, like, I will get you that for sure. And he's like, did you like get a voucher for your plane ticket or what did you do? And I thought that was very weird that he asked that. And I was like, yeah, I got a voucher for it. And then I got an email saying that someone had hacked my email.
Your email.
From the city that he lives in. And I was like, oh, he logged onto my email and saw that I got a voucher, and that's why he called me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to change all the passwords on everything because I realized he was getting onto all my accounts.
All your accounts.
And ended up having to block his phone number. And once I blocked his phone number, he was calling all of my friends, and he was emailing me. He sent me an email yesterday,
An email.
and he is finding every single excuse to try to talk to me.
Is email not a common form of communication for you two?
No. And like, I just asked him to please never reach out to me again. Like I said, I will give you the $50. I had already returned all his things. I was like, but now he's thinking of everything he could have left at my apartment. Like he's like, whoa, I think that I might have left like one sock there if you could check for it. Like I need that back. Like something.
Small, minuscule thing. It's just, it seems like, you said Ryan was his name?
Mhm.
It seems like Ryan's just trying to find minuscule excuses to kind of get in contact with you because he clearly is not coping with your guys' breakup as well as you are.
Yeah, I think it was definitely not a mutual breakup.
Not mutual. I think it was very mature of you to come in and talk today. But just so we get everything done, let's go ahead and move on. You said school. Is this affecting your schoolwork at all?
So my grades haven't suffered, but I think that my motivation has,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been like carrying such a heavy burden this
Right.
semester on my shoulders of him. And so it's not so much, it's just made my anxiety a lot worse, and it's made it hard to, I don't know if you've ever sufferred from anxiety, but you know, it like causes you to not want to leave the house, and like, it just makes me lose a lot of motivation.
How have you coped with your anxiety in the past?
I haven't.
You haven't. You haven't seen anyone or anything?
I mean, I'm prescribed medicine for it. I don't think that's a healthy way to cope with things. I try to do like painting or like talk to my parents or my grandparents.
Okay.
I have a good support system.
You have good sports. You said, who do you talk to mainly about this? Who's your biggest
My
support
grandma.
system? Your grandma? You guys have a good relationship?
Talk to her every day.
That's awesome. So let me make sure I'm getting this correct. Your grades haven't suffered, but you feel like your motivation to keep those grades up has suffered, and in the long term, or in the long run, you don't want that to affect your grades.
It's more like just kind of, I feel like I used to like care so much more about like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this like 3 weeks in advance, blah, 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 and now I'm like, okay, I really need to get started on this paper. I really need to get started on this paper. And I just keep putting it off because I'm like, then I start getting more anxiety.
Do you think that beforehand you were almost stressing yourself out more, trying to get everything done in a timeline you made up for yourself, whereas now you're just not used to kind of following the syllabus and doing everything in a more timely, on-time manner?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're doing well. Your grades haven't suffered. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any specific mechanisms you do to get to get your homework done, making sure you're staying on task?
So I try to make a list of everything that I want to accomplish for the week, and then a list of everything I'd like to accomplish for a specific day.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I will either come to the library.
The library.
Ever since I just recently got a cat after Ryan and I broke up.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, now I'm gonna get a cat.
Perfect time, yeah.
And so like I hate staying at my apartment now though because he's all over my keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll come to the library or I try to find something and I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and try to bust things out. But
Bust 'em out, yeah.
yeah.
That's smart. At least you realize what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I think that's a good start and a good place to be. I think just kind of keeping up doing what you're doing it seems to be working well for you now.
Yeah, so you would agree that like if once the burden of Ryan is entirely gone that maybe my motivation will come back?
I think your motivation is something on you that you have to just kind of work through and realize everything doesn't have to be done 3 weeks in advance. You can do it the week it's due, day before it's due. It's just your priorities that as long as it's done, your grades are doing fine, and you can handle it, then you should be fine. But you mentioned your brother. So does your schoolwork have anything to do with your brother? How is that? So Ryan and your brother are connected. How so?
So Ryan was one of my brother's friends.
Okay.
And my brother knew him and knew of his alcoholism and everything. So when we began dating, my brother was like furious. Like
Curious.
he was like, "You're not dating someone that deserves you.
Mhm.
You're not respecting yourself by dating him. and you're not going to be able to fix him. Like, when we got into an argument, the last text he sent me and said, I hope you know, like, you are a chronic fixer and it is your best and worst quality and it will kill you if you keep this up.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think of?
I mean, I think you touched on that you wanted to fix Ryan and you realized you couldn't. Trying to help people, awesome. Trying to fix people, you can't really do that. You hear it all the time, I'm sure, at school, parents, all through your life. You can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. So if Ryan didn't want help or he didn't want your assistance, then as much as you try, you're not really going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
But let's focus more on your brother. How
So-
has that affected your relationship with him?
So that basically, my brother and I, we were absolutely best friends. We were inseparable from the time we were little kids. Like, I always tried to like get my mom to let us share a room when we were little. I'd say, I'm sleeping with Shake, this is my brother. We were best friends.
Best friends.
Yeah, all through high school we did everything together. And then like, I mean, we even lived together last semester. Like, he was my biggest support system. And then, like when I started dating Ryan, we just didn't really talk for 3 months, and then things got a little better once we broke up. But it just felt kind of fake fixed, because when he would come, he lives in Philadelphia now.
Oh, okay, Philadelphia.
So he came in 2 weeks ago and he stayed at my apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and it was still just like weird. And it's just affected our relationship so much to the point where like he'll just call me crying and be like, why did you do that? Why did you?
So I'm not sure I completely understand. Could you explain it in a different way, how your relationship is weird?
I think Jake was embarrassed and upset and hurt that I dated, Jake's my brother,
Okay.
that I dated someone in his friend group and that it was that guy.
Okay.
Because he was more of like the person they only drank with. And so I think Jake was embarrassed because that, and so then our relationship just kind of, like my brother and I, our relationship just got like weird in a manner of, we used to just joke and laugh and do everything together, and like, I don't know, like I said, we were best friends, and now it's like, I feel like I have to force him to hang out with me. I'm like, I'll pay you $5 to go to breakfast with me, come on. If that makes sense. And that's the weird that I'm talking about.
How have you been coping with this problem? Who have you been talking to about it?
That I've been trying to talk to both my parents about it, and my grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to talk to my other like siblings about it and stuff, and they all think that Jake has a reason to be upset, but this grudge is like ridiculous.
Do you think that Jake was kind of acting the same way you were? Whereas you were trying to fix Ryan, Jake was trying to fix you?
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about that at all?
You know what? I actually had never thought about that until you just said that.
Mm-hmm. Looking back on the initial kind of wedge in your relationship, how do you feel you could have reacted differently or in a positive, proactive manner?
I could have believed him when he said that Ryan was he was a fun person to hang out with, but not a good person to date.
Not to date.
I could have not stood up for Ryan by belittling my brother.
Belittling your brother.
And I could have kept my relationship with my brother as the highest priority, not fixing Ryan as my highest priority.
How does this impact your daily life?
My brother and I used to talk every single day.
Okay.
And he would really like help me with my anxiety and like talk me through things and stuff like that. So it impacts my daily life because I'm very close with him. Like it's my brother, my grandma, and my parents that I talk to every single day usually. And now it's my brother maybe once a week.
You said that Jake was his name,
Mm-hmm.
that he would help you cope with your anxiety. What were some of the tactics and things you did to cope with that with Jake?
So Jake has pretty bad anxiety too, which all is like totally topic for another day. So usually he would put on one of my favorite movies, and we would just like sit in his room and watch movies and talk, and like he would help me do different things, and like my family does this one thing, like this breathing thing that really helps you slow yourself down.
Okay, so what I think we kind of talked about this entire time, your anxiety is something you're struggling with. You said Jake would watch movies with you. I think it'd be good for you kind of like start watching a movie on your own, have a friend come over, watch that movie with you.
Do you think that it would be beneficial to watch the same, like the movies that I used?
One of your favorites, something that calms you.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're dealing really well with your breakup and keeping school as your #1 priority. And it seems that you and Jake are kind of getting back on the right track, but it's important to remember that it's not going to be fixed in a day, and it's going to take time. It was a 5-month relationship, so it could take some time to kind of repair and rebuild everything you guys had, but you shouldn't expect it to be perfect soon. It's good that you kind of got Ryan out of your life. You realized it was unhealthy and that it wasn't something you should force yourself to deal with every day. And I think you handled that situation very maturely and very well, especially with everything else that you have going on in your life. I think you're doing very well.
You have no idea how much I needed that reassurance, because it's been a very hard month.
Yeah, but I think you're doing well. Hard months happen, but I think you're doing well, and to keep on what you're doing, and feel free to come back and see me if you have more questions.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Katie. It was good to meet you.
Thank you.